the man from down under with a little thunder, WWE and Pro Wrestling Hall of Famer, Bushwhacker Luke. I hear something else comes from down under too. The Wrestling with Figs podcast with my mates Chris and James. You gotta tune into this great podcast because Chris and James will give you all the inside info. Whoa! Yay!
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Wrestling with Figs podcast, episode number 6, and it is titled The Post-Olympic Blues. How are you, James?
I'm very well. You know what I'm going to start the show with? Boomers. 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 Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 6 of the podcast. I'm your host, James Thomas, and Chris and I are extremely pumped about this episode. It is called Post-Olympic Blues for a reason. And that is every 4 years, the Olympics happen. Australia kicks ass. Australia does so well. We punch well above our weight. And this year, for the first time in history, our favourite sport, you would say, the Olympics?
I would say that would be basketball. Basketball.
Yeah. Have finally taken home a medal. Albeit bronze, but it's a medal, and it's a cracking effort from the Boomers. Well done. Well
How good was Gazy, mate? Did you see Gazy tearing up at the end of the broadcast?
I did. If there's a person in Australia that doesn't like Andrew Gaze, they need to leave the country. He's the most lovable guy on the planet, right? What a legend.
He always struck me when he was coaching the Melbourne Tigers. I was like, he just doesn't seem to have that coach personality, but he's such a smart, knowledgeable man in basketball. Yeah. But, love you, Gazy. I'm your other host tonight, Chris Maddock. I'm keeping James in line, talking about what's new in the world of figures and what companies are charging me when they shouldn't be charging me. That'll be coming up tonight, and all that and more. What about other things happening, mate? You're not in lockdown over in the New South Wales region?
No, not in beautiful Port Macquarie. Unfortunately, most of Sydney is, and Byron Bay is, which Byron Bay is just a couple of hours up the road. To all those in lockdown, I'm thinking of you, especially friends and family. It's a bloody tough time, especially for small business. Jeff from Go Figure being one of them. It's crazy times that we actually live in right now. Hey,
it's just a strange world. We're lucky here in WA. We're still pretty free over here. And I know that Brisbane exited lockdown today, so well done to Brisbane. I don't know, New South Wales and Victoria both still in lockdown, and I'm pretty sure. South Australia? Do you know anything? Does anyone live there anymore?
I don't know. You know how many people I've met, I reckon, in the last couple of years of, especially my professional life, how many people used to live in South Australia and don't live there anymore? Either live in Sydney or Brisbane?
I don't know, mate. How many?
Heaps.
Really?
Couldn't even tell you how many. That many people I've met. But anyway.
Hey, can already see the comments are flooding in, and also the viewership is very high at the moment. So welcome to everybody who's watching live. And if you're listening on the podcast, welcome. We hope you enjoy the show. We've got lots planned for this evening, and it's going to be a big one.
For those that are in lockdown, hopefully the show brings you some kind of joy and nostalgia and takes your mind off your current reality. I want to talk about the Boomers a bit more, mate, and the Olympics if we can, Chris.
Yeah, go for it. It's your show. I just work here.
My show. That's right. You heard it here first. My show. I love the Olympics, and I think if I could have my life over again, I would love to be an Olympian. I get post-Olympic blues every time, especially when it was in Sydney. It's a big difference when it was in Sydney. I was a 20-year-old single loving life, and now it's in Tokyo. I'm 41, father of 2, and I still have those Olympic blues once they're done. But we said it earlier, the Boomers, I was just so proud. I actually shed a tear, Chris. I shed a tear when they finally won, because you know what they showed before they played their finals match was the heartbreak of the Rio Olympics. Mm-hmm. I completely forgot about that. Do you remember what happened?
It was a bad call, wasn't it?
Oh, they got him on a foul.
Yeah.
Basically, the Boomers were leading the whole game. Paddy Mills, of all people, got charged with a foul right underneath the ring. They're down by they were up by 1, and Spain got the 2 free throws in, and they had one last crack at it, but lost. And I just think that 5 years ago, that's a long time to wait to gain redemption. And I just think the passion that Paddy Mills not only has for his people, but has for the, Australia in general, and what that meant, what that meant to him, to see him crying after the game, to see him crying during the medal ceremony, to see him crying in the interviews. Same with Joe Ingles. It was just such a proud moment to be an Australian, and especially a basketball fan. I was wrapped. It was probably the best Saturday night I've had all year.
It's so interesting to compare the cultures of the fan support of the Boomers versus the fan support of Team USA, because the lead up for Team USA was like, this is the worst team we've ever had. We've got a bunch of individuals, but they can't play as a team. Well, admittedly, they are individually still the best 12 players in the world compared to the rest of the teams, maybe other than Luka and a few others, but they were never going to lose. The USA were, unless they completely self-destructed, they were never going to lose. And that game against Australia in the semi-final, they just flicked the switch in the third quarter and it became unstoppable.
But they flicked the switch. Kevin Durant was probably the biggest switch they flicked. But I just found that Australia almost crapped themselves because I was so far in front.
Mm-hmm.
They're 14 up and then went into the half-time break at 3 up and then come out and forgot to play. But no one was hitting their shot. Their defense fell apart. But Kevin Durant, what a freak.
Yeah, good player. Hey, we probably should move on into the show. Before we do, favourite moment of the whole Olympics was the basketball for you?
Yeah, it was. But I guess another one for me was the boxer. Was it Harry? Yep. Harry? Seeing him get a bronze medal. A lot. What's her name? Jessica Fox.
Yes. You got to ask me, mate.
Sorry, mate. I'm taking over. My show, remember?
Question. What was my favourite moment?
What was your favourite moment?
Oh, I'm glad you asked me that, James. Well, my favourite moment was probably Jessica Fox. I thought was bloody awesome after the last Olympics. She just missed out. In the first event she was in, she just missed out with a few penalties. Thought that was really cool. And because her whole family worked within her team as well, thought that was really cool. The other one that I really liked, and they didn't win a medal, was the Matildas when they played United Kingdom. I don't know whether you saw the game. They were 2-1 down, scored an equaliser in the last minute to go to 2-2, go to extra time, get a completely dubious penalty paid against them, save the penalty, and then score 2 goals to win the game. It was a bloody amazing game. Unfortunately, lost the semi and then lost the playoff for bronze. But they're playing USA again, probably the strongest women's team. Other than, I know they didn't win the gold, but Team USA won the World Cup, 2 years ago? So they're very, very strong, and they're probably a little bit unlucky to not play off for gold. I think they might have lost in a shootout or 1-0. So, but let's get on with the show, mate.
Like all Olympics, there's many, many great moments. So congratulations, Team Australia. You've done us proud. Now, the Wrestling with Figs podcast is proudly sponsored by Go Figure Collectibles. Go Figure Collectibles are one of the greatest stores that Australia has ever seen, and we are honoured to be partnering with Jeff and his team at Go Figure. Now, I want to quickly talk to what Go Figure are currently going through and how we can support as a community, how we can support Go Figure. I don't want to go too deep into this because it is some private information from Jeff and the team, but put it this way, COVID has kicked Go Figure in the guts. Any business would be struggling because, after 6 lockdowns, they're currently in their 6th lockdown, believe it or not, which is absolutely ridiculous. So I encourage all of our listeners to please support Jeff and the team at Go Figure. I don't want anyone to stop going out to their local Targets and Big Doughy and going on their fig hunts and buying their figures. But if you are in a position to, do whatever you can to support Jeff and the team, because they are getting our pre-orders. They finally won the battle with Mattel. Currently in stock, they've got the 86. You can pre-order series 87, 88, and 89, plus all the other basic figures that I don't know too much about, to be honest with you. Plus, you get your 5% discount, right? So I know in the past that pre-orders, especially with AEW, no fault of Australian retailers, pre-orders get pulled. I understand that. But this seems to be the real deal. It's been a two-year plus battle with Mattel, and Jeff's finally won that. So we need to get behind Jeff and Go Figure and pre-order figures from Go Figure. Again, don't want you to stop doing what you're doing. If you're in a position to do, support Go Figure. They've finally got the stock that we're after. So let's get down there. And obviously all FDU members, sorry, Chris, FDU members and Wrestling with Fig podcast listeners receive a 5% discount using code FDU5.
And proof in the pudding of the success is the fact that I still think we're the only 10 people, 15 people to have a Colonel Mustafa Elite. I have not seen anyone worldwide posting images of getting a Mustafa in a store. So what seems to happen with the collector's editions is big companies like Ringside, for whatever reason, don't get it because they don't advertise, they don't sell it. So they sell the standard cases of 6, and people can buy them. I've seen plenty of people buying in the US and having a Sid Justice or a Triple H Elite 86, but I have not seen anyone else anywhere. So if that's starting to happen, we're starting to get product first, then we want to keep that happening. We've got to keep buying more and more. Now, for me personally, now that I can order with security knowing that it's going to come in, I'll be getting Elites from Go Figure because I don't have to pay $30 from Ringside for one figure to be shipped. That's like I could buy another figure. So my fig fed could be even bigger than it already is. So get behind him. Good man,
guys.
good skill.
Get behind him. Hey, just quickly on that Colonel Mustafa figure, is the shirt on yours quite small?
I haven't opened one yet.
Oh, you haven't? Okay.
No.
If any of our listeners have picked that figure out, let me know if your Colonel Mustafa shirt is quite small.
You might be the only one that's opened one.
Okay, cool.
I'm pretty sure Jeff said he only got 10 or 11 of those in. So if you've opened yours, you think a lot of people would have held theirs. So who knows? Well,
there you go. We've mentioned it earlier, guys, and we mention it every week on the pod. We have a private Facebook group community called the Figs Down Under. A great group of people, a great community of collectors. We encourage you all to come and join the family. Simple to do. Jump onto Facebook, look up Figs Down Under, answer the 3 questions, and we'll welcome you with open arms. It's a fun group, guys. So you get to watch the podcast live and unedited a week before it goes live into podcast land. So that's one of the benefits. It's a free group as well. We talk shop about all things collectibles, mainly wrestling figures, but everything: turtles, memorabilia, sports cards, you name it. We cover it in the community.
If you're in the group, you can watch this podcast live, and you can interact and give us comments and questions throughout the show. And one member of our group, Matt Rhodes, has just posted a nice tirade in the comments about Ben Simmons just not being involved anymore with the Australian national team. Hey, speaking of Matt Rhodes, how did New Zealand go at the Olympics, mate? They go. I didn't see him at all.
Matt Rhodes, don't listen to him, mate. We love our Kiwi counterparts, and I saw a few Kiwi participants in the cycling. What about the velodrome cyclists, the team of 4?
Oh.
His handlebars fell off. You see that?
Like, you'd think step 1 of being an elite level rider is make sure your bike is put together properly.
Yeah.
That company you'd think it must have been their team's error, not the company's error. Sure. But, not a good look. All right, let's keep moving.
All right, let's go. Figure news. Again, not as big as last week, guys, but we've got a fair bit to cover. So let's actually, you know what? I want to correct some mistakes we did last week, Chris. We're going to cover some of the reveals from the San Diego Comic-Con Mattel Elites. All right, bear with me. I'm just going to bring up another sheet in front of me. And I don't know if we stuffed up last time or they've actually released some more information. So bear with me, guys. I'm going to start from Series 90 and all the way through to Series 93. Excuse me. All right, so from Series 90, it's been revealed that they've got Bronson Reed, but who knows if that figure's coming out now?
Yeah.
Another Aussie. Let's hope he signs somewhere fantastic and shoves it in WWE's face. We're rooting for you, mate. Big Boss Man. We didn't discuss this one now. Big Boss Man, the website I found said it's the